Under cloudless skies at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this Thursday afternoon, welcome to the 12th annual Miller Pit Stop Competition. I'm Chuck Marlowe, along with Gary Lee. Gary, you and I have had the pleasure of working this for several years now, and each year we have the fortune also of seeing this prize money go up and up and up, and this year it's $51,000.
Well, in fact, we had the first alternate, Derek Daly's team, getting $1,000 for just competing and not making the finals, and as the prize money goes up, the crowd has gone up. I mean, there are many racetracks around this country, around the world, that would like to have a crowd like this for race days. This is just a practice day, and we have, what, maybe 75,000 people?
75 to 100,000. First time I can ever remember seeing fans in the penthouse on the outside. That's right. We have, here's the rundown of the prize money, and as you can see, first place this year, $25,000, then $15,000 to second place. The first round losers, and we'll talk about first round in just a moment, $5,000 each, and the alternate, as you said, Derek Daly, received $1,000. Now, Gary, let's talk a little bit about the rules. The rules are very important because they're only going to see two heats in the championship here. There's been a preliminary round. Explain what happened in that preliminary round.
Well, first of all, the fastest three qualifiers get an automatic invitation. Now, keep in mind that Roger Penske had all three cars in the front row. He elected to concentrate the effort with the Danny Sullivan crew. Right. Chuck Sprague, the crew chief, has won this before a couple of times, so we have one Penske car. That meant an invitation went to the fourth fastest qualifier, Mario, and the fifth fastest, Al Jr., and then we had preliminaries, and the winner of that round was Roberto Guerrero. So he now will represent that group, and we'll have the four finalists.
All right, Guerrero's time in that preliminary runoff was a little bit over 13 seconds. That's pretty respectable speed.
The winning time last year was over 18 seconds. Right. The track record for this competition is just over 11 seconds. And keep in mind, we talk about the two preliminary rounds. You're not going against each other. Each guy is going against the clock. So it's conceivable that the guys from the first round, the first two combatants, could come back for the championship round if they had the fastest two times.
All right. Now, the time that is involved in the pit area, let's explain that very, very quickly. In the preliminary round, they changed only the right side rubber and hooked up the hoses. In this round, in the semifinals and in the finals, they are going to have to change rubber on all four sides of the tires, and again, or all four sides of the car, and again, they do have to hook the hoses up. Let's pick the pairings up. We're going to see a couple of real racers here in the first heat.
Well, in the first, we have the Chevrolet-powered Miller High Life car. It's actually yellow because this is the backup car that Danny Sullivan is driving. He goes against car number 2, the Dianetics STP Lola Cosworth of Roberto Guerrero.
Okay, we'll be set to bring you this first heat. It's going to be top-notch competition once again. Fans in the past have enjoyed it here at the start-finish line of the Motor Speedway on Carburation Day, the Miller Pit Stop Competition. And we'll be back with the Sullivan-Guerrero heat in just a minute.
Kevin Wolf is Director of Sports Marketing for the Miller Brewery Company, and this is a major, major event that grows every year here during the month of May, and I have never seen a crowd this large from the Miller Pit Stop.
We certainly haven't either, and I think it says a lot for USAC and all the people here at Indy in terms of what avid fans they really are. By far the largest crowd, and that's something we're very proud of to be really associated with.
Well, of course, Miller Beer is to be commended because we salute the drivers all month, all season long, and this is really an effort to showcase the crews, the guys that do the work, the unsung heroes. Without the crews, we wouldn't have a race.
Without a doubt, and from a sponsor standpoint, we know how important they are, but if you ask any driver out there, they know what it takes to win the race. Sure, their driving skill, but it's the teams that really make it happen.
And you also just love to see the Miller money go to the Miller team, don't you?
I certainly do. I think Danny's got a good shot. If you see Roger Penske out there directing that Miller High Life crew, you know it means a lot to him, and he's out there hustling, acting like a general, and we're keeping our fingers crossed. We got a good shot.
We are delighted to have you back, and you're to be commended for your efforts here at the Speedway, the Miller Pit Stop Competition. Thank you.
Great, Gary. Thank you very much.
Here he is, spin and win. You're never going to live that nickname down after winning in 1985, but that's okay because you have your face in the Borg Warner Trophy, and you also have your name down as the winner of the Miller Pit Stop Competition a couple of times. And there's a real effort on the part of the Penske crew because you had all three drivers and crews invited, so it's a concentrated effort for car number 9.
Well, it is. Of course, we wanted to use our spare car. We didn't want to use the 3 race cars. You might damage it. Anything could go wrong, and then we'd be kind of a little bit out of whack for the race. But these guys are tremendous. You know, I've done it 2 times with them and won it both times, and so we're going to try to repeat that here today.
You guys take the spotlight all month long, but you realize how important these crew guys are because without them, you wouldn't have a race car to go fast.
Well, that's right. Not only wouldn't we have a race car to go fast, we might not win the race. I mean, time and time again in my years with Penske, these guys have given me the lead or got me back on the lead lap or helped me to pass the car in the pits. And that's invaluable, particularly at a place like the Speedway where you're doing 7, 8, 9 pit stops during the course of a race.
So once again, let's underscore the fact that this car today, the yellow Miller number 1T, is not the car you're going to be in. You'll be in the gold car, number 9.
Number 9. Rick will be in the other number 1, and the other number 5, and Big Al will be in the other yellow number 1.
Pressure's on. Just keep the engine powered up in this car, and the crew will do the rest.
We'll try.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Danny Sullivan. The winner of the preliminary round, Roberto Guerrero, and your crew had to really work to make it to the semifinals.
That's right. The other 3 guys just got in automatically for being on the front row or being fast qualifiers. Well, ours had to work for it, so they got a little extra practice, so they should do okay.
It has been somewhat of a trying month. You didn't start quite as far up as you wanted to, but a win here could certainly be some nice icing on the cake before the race on Sunday.
That's right. That would be nice. I think it's obviously for the guys. You know, it's really, you know, all the prize money goes to them, and it's basically their deal. You know, now they're the ones that are nervous, although I shouldn't even say that. I'm more nervous right now than before the start of the race, because you could be killed for less things like that. Stalling the car or something is definite death.
Yeah, but if you make one slight mistake in the race, you have the rest of the race to make it up and compensate for that mistake. You kill the engine out here, there's no tomorrow.
That's right. You're killed instantly.
Good luck. Have a good ride, and good luck to the crew.
Thank you.
Roberto Guerrero, car number 2.
All right, just about set to get things underway. On the left, car 1T, Danny Sullivan. On the right, number 2, Roberto Guerrero. These cars will come in, Gary. They will change 4 tires. The car has to come to a complete stop. And the timing begins when they enter the trap area, not when the car comes to a stop. Watch Dwayne Sweeney. There it is. There's green.
Remember, it does not matter who is first in. It's the total time from the time they trip the light going in, they trip the circuit going out. There is the connection being made. They're changing all 4 tires. Now, obviously, some bit of strategy would dictate that Guerrero pulls in deeper, and that Chevrolet wars away as it's Sullivan out first. But let's wait for both the time and also for the tech inspection, Chuck. Well, there's a look at the time. 15.387 for Guerrero. Sullivan 15.279. So Sullivan, the fastest out. However, we have to check for any penalties. Let's take a look now, Chuck, again.
Okay, watch these cars come in. On Danny Sullivan's car, of course, the crew chief is Chuck Sprague. Sprague will be on the right front tire. Rich Reineman is on the left front. Jerry Breon is on the right rear. Richard Buck is on the left rear. The fueler is Vic McCarty. And the vent man is John Haylett. And they all have a job to perform, and they do it well.
And he was the first away. Now, once again, they have to check to make sure all the wheel nuts are tight. No wheels were loose in the pit area that perhaps rolled away. And we are now being told that indeed Danny Sullivan is the victor. If the next 2 drivers in the second round are faster than both of these, then we could see 2 other drivers in the final. That's the unique format of this event, Chuck. It's not a competition against individuals. It's strictly a competition against the clock.
Exactly. So we have coming up now, after the official heat victory of Danny Sullivan over Roberto Guerrero, the upcoming heat with Mario Andretti and Al Unser Jr. And we'll return with that in just a minute. Okay, our next heat is in the staging area. Mario Andretti, car number 6. That's the car farthest away from you. And it will be car number 3, Al Unser Jr. The Lola Chevy is Andretti. The March Chevy is Al. Crew chiefs, Colin Duff and Owen Snyder, respectively. You know, a lot is very important in the pit area. The technical aspect of what does take place here, not only in pit stop competition, but also during the race itself. And Gary Lee talks with a very important man that holds all this together.
The USAC Tech Director is Jack Beckley. And Jack, a little different type of competition out here this afternoon. What are you guys checking for after each run?
The main thing is to see that there's no violations of the men over the wall before the car comes to a complete stop. And then as they go through, we back them up and jack the car up and make sure that all 4 of the wheel nuts are tight.
And then you also time how long the coupler is hooked up for the fuel line?
That's a 5-second plug-in. It's not a plug-in, just simulating a plug-in for 5 seconds.
You've been around the Speedway for so many years, first as a mechanic, a chief mechanic, and then a USAC official. Did you ever think we'd see this kind of a crowd on Carburation Day?
We were just talking to Gallus and Penske and I that, boy, a lot of promoters would love to have a race day crowd like this.
Going to have good weather and a great crowd come Sunday. Let's have a great race.
Oh, thank you, Gary. I really hope it stays like this. This is really a fantastic day, and like you say, it'd be good for the drivers and the cars both.
Well, Al Unser Jr., as the crew is preparing for their effort here in the pit stop competition, you drivers get all the glory, and I know you certainly respect and admire these guys for putting you where you are in the starting lineup this year.
Very much so. You know, the team has done a great job, and I think they're going to prove it here this afternoon.
But there's just a little pressure on you out here, too, because you have to bring it in fast, keep the engine revved up, and get it out in a hurry.
Well, yeah, we got to keep it running for sure, and getting in and getting out is just part of it. I think all of it is getting the tires changed and all that, and so I'm only a few tenths, and so as long as we can just keep it running, we'll be okay.
Mario Andretti, you've had your highs and lows this month, but I know you want to push all that behind you because right now it's time for the crew to show their stuff.
Well, we've had a good month so far, and I think we're continuing so. You know, if you're referring to qualifying, it just was our choice to just take the time at a time of the day that obviously our car wasn't going to perform the best. But after that, we've been able to just pick up and be pretty much where we wanted to be. So, as I say, I think we're still in there pretty good shape.
And in this competition, your crew is a defending champion, so obviously you know a fast way through the pits.
Well, they're capable. Here again, I think, yes, I think they earned it last year, and they could very easily do that the same this year.
Okay, Gary, it looks as if we're getting set to get this heat underway. It's going to be Mario Andretti, car number 6. That's up next to the wall, farthest away from our camera, and Al Unser Jr. in car number 3.
Now, of course, the Andretti crew is the defending champions here. They won it 1 year ago.
Here we go, green flag.
Remember, it doesn't matter who is in first or really who is out first. It's the total time from electric eye to electric eye. And the times they're shooting for, the times turned in by Sullivan and Guerrero. Sullivan at 15.279, Guerrero at 15.387. The fastest two will go into the championship run. A good stop. Oh, a fast stop from Mario Andretti.
Well, that's the quickest yet, Gary. Look at that.
So it looks like the championship will be Sullivan and Guerrero. Let's take a look again, Chuck.
All right, here they come. There's the green flag being dropped. Now, the first car in is going to be Al Unser Jr. Owen Snyder's the crew chief. He's also on the right front tire. They had trouble with the right rear tire. Shea Campbell just had trouble getting that lock nut to tighten up again, and that may have been what delayed them. Watch the right rear on Unser's car. Now you're going to see Andretti down. They're just about, there he goes. He's down now and off. His crew chief Colin Duff sends him off, and they're still working on Unser's car. You notice they had the problem with that right rear. Okay, Gary, so then in that slow motion action, we saw Mario Andretti cross that finish line while Al Unser Jr. had problems in the pit with that right rear, and they just couldn't get the car down quickly enough, so Andretti wins the heat. And as we understand now, maybe we have made a comment about it before, but in the past, it's been the quickest times that have competed against each other. This year, it's the quickest time of each heat.
Yeah, I've been talking about the format, allowing the two fastest to go in the championship round. They have changed the format somewhat this year to take the winners of each heat. So forget what we've said.
Okay, and forgetting that, we will set the stage for you right now. The championship coming up for $25,000. First prize, $15,000. Second, it will be Danny Sullivan, 15.279 seconds versus Mario Andretti, 15.654 seconds. And we'll return with that final heat in a minute. Well, Gary, this is the second time that we are going through the championship. We're going to have to set the stage. Danny Sullivan and Mario Andretti have already done it once. Sullivan with a time of 14.405, but he was very slow, killed the engine getting off the line, had to be restarted and pushed through again. Mario Andretti had gone through at 15.151, but apparently after they both finished their runs, there were discrepancies on both sides, so they said, let's just chuck it and go again, and here they go.
There they are. The green flag is out. The drag race underway into the pits. Andretti is there first. The crew is going to work. This is for $25,000. The Miller Pit Stop Championship for 1988. It's taking longer to run this competition this afternoon than what it takes to run the 500 on race day. And Andretti is the first to get away, smokes the tires.
Did he do it?
Well, the team seems to be confident. Let's wait and take a look at the time here.
See how quick it is. There's Sullivan getting out of his car, and he shows jubilation.
There it is, Sullivan.
Yep, he did it.
Sullivan at 14.782 over Andretti's 15.006. So now we must wait and see if there are any infractions, which is where we picked up all the discrepancies in the last run. Here's the replay, Chuck.
All right, they're coming in once again. Watch this now. It appears to be a very clean exchange in the pit area. Both cars come to a complete stop. You see them working on Mario's car on the near side, and way across the way, all rubber is changed on the other side. Mario's crew is back first, and he's out of the pit area first. But apparently Danny tripped the lights at both ends in a shorter length of time than Andretti did. And so, barring penalties, it's going to be Danny Sullivan the winner.
Once again, Danny's time, 14.782 to a 15.006 clocking for Mario.
It is official. Danny Sullivan is the winner. The time 14.782. Mario Andretti 15.006. The times stand, and Danny Sullivan is the winner of the Miller Pit Stop competition for 1988. Gary Lee will be back to talk to the winner and his crew in just a minute.
Well, we talked to Danny earlier. Here's Chuck Sprague, the crew chief. And what happened, first of all, in the first run when the engine died on you?
Well, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Sometimes they run, sometimes they don't. And maybe it was jitters on Sullivan's part. I don't know. I wasn't there.
And then a couple of infractions. I said, okay, let's just run the whole thing over again. And obviously, you guys have won before in 85 and 86. Last year, though, Andretti knocked you off. You're back in victory lane.
Yeah, well, last year we had a little mess up and we forgot to enter, so that sort of gave it away for us there. But yeah, it's good to be back, but it gets tougher every time we run. You know, we come out and watch the other guys last year, and it was close then, and you know, we're just relieved to be back up top again where we belong.
I see some Pennzoil shirts. I see some Miller shirts. You have the cream of the Penske crop here.
Yeah, we like to get somebody from every car. I mean, it is a team effort. I mean, you don't make the front row unless everybody's pulling together, and we used it to our advantage in qualifying as well. So it's good to have everybody from all the teams. They are the best.
As they say, it's Miller time. You're $25,000 richer. Congratulations, guys.
Hey, we're loving it.
So it took 2 championship heats, but we finally came up with a winner, and that winner is Danny Sullivan, driver of the Miller Highlight PC Chevy. For Roger Penske, his crew, Chuck Sprague, the crew chief. Our congratulations to them. They're winners of $25,000. Mario Andretti, finishing in second place, picks up $15,000 for his crew. And then third and fourth place go to Roberto Guerrero, $5,000 for his third and fourth place, or actually the 2 losers positions. And Al Unser Jr. also $5,000, with $1,000 going to alternate Derek Daly. If you're coming to the race, by all means drive carefully. We hope you see a very safe race, and that